All right. I think you are quite familiar with the first three, but you may have kind of forgotten the other two because they're less commonly used. Okay. But just a quick poll before we start, and I introduce you to them again. How many of you can remember all five? Can you please just give me a raised hand or like a virtual raised hand? That's fine. How many of you can remember all five synthesis rules? Okay, I'm not seeing very many reactions. Okay, I'm going to go down the scale. Okay. Oh, okay. I see Claire's hand up. Okay, Claire, you can remember all five, is it? Kind of? Okay. So later you see whether the five you remember are the same as the five that I will review again. Okay, right? Let's very quickly just raise our hands if we can remember any one or two of them, and let's try to cobble the five together and see if we match up to the five that I have listed in my slides. Okay, quick. Who can remember any one of them? Okay, Dia, unmute yourself and just tell us one. Then after that, Brian second. Go.
You cannot change the meaning.
Claire third. Okay, Duncan fourth. Okay, Dia, I can't hear you. There's no volume. Hold on. Sorry, I think it's Mr. Pang's side. Give me a minute. Let me just change my speaker so that I can hear you. Okay, Dia, again, please.
For synthesis, you cannot change the meaning of the
Okay,
sentence.
so Dia's got the first one. Okay, Brian, second one.
You cannot change the tense unless it is a reported speech.
Very good. You cannot change the tense, and I like that you qualified it with reported speech. Excellent. That's rule number two. Who did I say would go third? Was it Claire? No. Who was third? Okay, never mind. Maybe Duncan can go third.
Actually, I was going to say what Brian was going to say.
Okay, can you remember any others besides the ones that Brian and Claire have said?
No, that's the only one I remember.
Okay, never mind. Jairus, go ahead. Third rule.
The number of words must be the same or less than the original sentence.
Okay, so what you're essentially saying is that the answer must be shorter than the two constituent sentences combined, right? Okay, that's true. That's correct. That is actually one of the lesser remembered rules. Good. Well done. Anybody else remembers anything else? Perhaps something related to a comma? Anyone? Ah, yes, I see some comprehension coming in. Okay, Claire, go ahead.
When the connector moves to the front, a comma must replace it.
Very good. When a connector in the sentence that you have constructed moves to the front, a comma must take its place. Excellent. So we have 3 rules out of 5. Can I take it that y'all cannot remember the others, right? Kind of like a big question marky. Yeah? Okay, actually 4 rules. Okay, so good. So fine. I will just review the 5 rules again with all of you, and then I will try to show you how these 5 rules will govern the attachment to these 4 questions that we're going to look at today. Okay, so very quickly, right, let me move on now. Before we go into the rules, just a quick reminder that when you say synthesis and transformation, right, they're referring to 2 different things actually. Synthesis is the act of combining 2 sentences together. Okay. Transformation, on the other hand, is slightly different. Transformation is changing the sentence, changing the sentence in a way that rearranges its parts, but not its meaning. Okay, so you can combine 2 sentences and be only doing synthesis. But in many cases, when we combine 2 sentences, we also move parts of it around. And that's why it's synthesis and transformation at the same time. Do you all understand and agree? Okay, so most PSLE questions will be synthesis and transformation. You need to do multiple steps, but there will be one question that will be only synthesis. Very easy. It's for you to score the 2 marks. Okay, so out of 10 marks, you should at least be able to score 4 marks. 1 easy synthesis question and maybe 1 easy transformation question. Okay, so that's how your PSLE paper is formatted. Synthesis and transformation. Remember, synthesis is to join, and transformation is to change without changing meaning. All right, which is why it is one of our rules. Okay, now very quickly, right, take a look. These are the 5 rules, and I want you to memorize them. All right, I will send the slides to you so you don't have to copy this down, but try to make this an internalized part of your memory system. So every time you do synthesis, right, you are unconsciously applying these rules to check that A, you have not changed meaning. B, you have not changed tense. C, you have changed the connector to a comma if you moved it to the front. D, the 2 sentences that join together must not be longer than the constituent parts. And E, all repeated words in your answers must either be cancelled out or replaced with a pronoun or an equivalent word class. Do you understand? Okay, so these are the 5 most commonly used rules in synthesis. There are many more, by the way, right? And when you go to secondary school and you do more complex sentence combinations, there will be more things to look out for. But at the primary level, these 5 will solve 85% of the problems that you face in synthesis. So memorize them. So meaning, tense, connector, length of sentence or answer, and finally repeated words. These are my most condensed versions of these 5 rules. But these are the 5 full versions of those rules. I say again, meaning, tense, connector or comma, length, and repeated words. Okay, so that's how I remember to look out for these 5 components whenever I do any kind of synthesis or transformation or synthesis and transformation questions. All right, so I'll give you a minute longer just to look at this. Do you have any questions about any of these rules? Do you know what I mean by repeated words? Right, you do, right? Very often the subject is repeated, right? Ellen, Ellen. You replace Ellen with a pronoun, right? Okay. Very often a verb can be repeated, right? You cancel that verb, right? Ellen is eating a cake. James is eating a cake. Ellen and James are eating a cake. You cancel the other eating, correct? Because it's a repeated word. Okay. So repeated words are either cancelled or replaced with equivalent word classes. Is basically rule number 5, the one that we did not cover. Okay. Any questions? Very straightforward, right? This is like a cheat code hack. If you remember these 5, then these will help you to save 85% of your marks from any mistakes that you might make in these 5 rules domains. Okay. Now, all talk is cheap. Let's go into a little bit of practice, okay, so that we can kind of get used to checking our answers and questioning ourselves using these 5 rules. Okay. By the way, today I think rule number 3 will not be used, okay, but just apply the other rules. Okay, let's go. First, very common type of synthesis and transformation question that you will encounter is the type that involves verbs. And can anybody tell me what is the original verb class? What is the most basic verb in the English language? What is the most basic verb in the English language? The most commonly used one and the most basic verb in the English language. What is it? This is a general knowledge question. Anybody knows the answer? It appears everywhere and it is very common and it's very basic. Yes, Dia?
Is it the be verbs?
Very good. It's a be verb. And of course, by be, I don't just mean be, right? I also mean is, are, was, were, has, have. All these are be verbs, right? They are verbs of existence or possession. I say again, they are verbs of existence or possession. So he is a boy. I am a man. They are children. You are pigs. Okay, for example, right? Existential verbs that tell you the state of something or someone is a be verb. And they occur by themselves, and they also occur in combination with continuous tense verbs and with other types of verbs. They are very versatile and they appear all the time. Therefore, in synthesis, very often what they test you on is the be verb, the verb form itself, and how to transform a sentence using a different be verb form. For example, let me show you the first type. Okay, oops, I don't know why that came out. Okay, that should not have appeared. Never mind. Anyway, so changing tense forms for be verb. So ignore the bottom one. Just look at the top one. Okay, right? Hamid kept quiet as he was too shy to join in the conversation. Okay, Hamid kept quiet as he was too shy to join in the conversation. Right? So again, I point out to all of you that the verb being is now in front, which means that I need to look at the be verb in the sentence and then I need to change it. Okay, I need to change it. So in this case, right, was is a be verb. Is, are, was, were are be verbs, right? So what do I do with the was? Anybody? Anybody? Don't look at the bottom. Duncan? Yes, go ahead.
Can you repeat your question?
Sure.
Forgot it.
Can you see that the be verb is now being, right? Is in the front of the sentence. Can you all see that? So if there's already a be verb in the answer, what do I do with was, which is the be verb in the question? What do I do with it? Yes, Dia.
Do you take it out and change the verb into a past tense?
You do take out the was, but you don't change it. You delete it. Why do I delete the was away? What rule am I applying here that forces me to take away the was when the word being is already in front there? What rule am I looking at? What rule? Can you remember? I just flashed the... Okay, let me just go back. I'm sorry, I'm just... okay. Look at these rules. Okay, so again, refresh your memory. Which rule did I just apply when I replaced the was with the being? Because they are both be verbs, right? What rule did I just apply? Yes, Clarissa?
Number 5.
Number?
5.
Number 5, yes, thank you. Right, I think you were using your hands to show me number 5. Yes, because it's a repeated word, right? The word was has been replaced by the word being because they are both the same function. They are functioning as be verbs. I cannot have two be verbs in one sentence, but I cannot have she is a girl, right? He is a boy. Cannot. I can only have one be verb in any sentence, right? So I delete the was, right? So that's my rule number 5 in action. Very good. Okay, next. Being, anybody, by the way, I'm just going to show you all the answer. Okay, so when we identify that being is being used, right, then we need to find a be in the statement, and then we need to delete that be, right? So was shy, right? I need to remove the was and change it to being shy. Do you understand? Being shy or being too shy in this case. Being too shy to join in the conversation. Now, being in this case is functioning as a connector, isn't it? Correct? I have inserted a connector and brought the connector to the front. So what is the other rule I need to apply when a connector moves to the front? Which rule do I have to apply? Claire? Claire?
The comma replacing the connector.
Yes, because remember the connector moves all the way to the front. Being is now right in front, right? Therefore, a comma must appear in the middle of my statement to take its place. So I have rule number 5 and rule number 3. Okay, I would thank you not to distract the rest, please, Duncan. Thank you. All of you are clearly visible to me. Please don't test my patience. This is being recorded, as you well know. All right. Once again, rule number 5 tells us to delete the redundant be verb. Rule number 3 tells us to put a comma because the verb, the connector, has been moved to the front. Okay, so far so good, huh? And then finally, as he is an irrelevant word cluster, I remove that. So being too shy to join in the conversation, comma, Hamid kept quiet. Why did I put Hamid at the back? Right? Because he was too shy to join in the conversation becomes Hamid kept quiet. Why did I replace he with Hamid? Anyone? What rule has made me change he to Hamid? Which rule? Shani?
At the front, you didn't mention him.
Correct. So I need to mention him, right? Otherwise, I don't know who he is, right? I need to put Hamid's name there. So what rule is this? Where I preserve his name so that I know that Hamid is the one I'm referring to. Which rule is it? So Xuanyi is absolutely right. And he has pointed astutely to that fact that if we don't put Hamid in, right, we don't know who we are talking to or about. Which rule has he just applied? Rule 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? What has he just protected? Dia?
Rule 5.
Sorry?
Rule 5.
No, it's not about repeated words. Nope. Think about it. If I don't put Hamid and I leave it as he, being too shy to join in the conversation, he kept quiet. What has changed? Claire?
Rule 1.
Yes. Because if I don't put Hamid, I change the meaning of the sentence to refer to anyone, right? But in this case, this sentence is referring to a specific person and his name is Hamid. Do you understand? So rule number 1 forces me to keep Hamid's name in the sentence. Otherwise, I will change the sentence to refer to somebody else. So can you see rule 1, rule 3, rule 5 in action here? And of course, if you count the number of words, you will see that it is shorter, right? So rule number 4 is also taking place. Can you see? Right? And if I check, Hamid kept quiet, past tense, kept quiet, right? Original sentence, Hamid kept quiet because he was too shy. Are the tenses consistent? So rule number 2 is also in action. In other words, all 5 rules are concurrently active in your answer. Can you see that? Right? So if you are very alert and you use your 5 rules to scaffold your answer, you cannot go wrong. It's almost impossible. It's like bulletproof. You understand? But the key here is you must practice, because the more skillful you are at applying your 5 rules, the more bulletproof your answer will be, the less mistakes you will make, and of course you will earn the full 10 marks in this section. Precious 10 marks, because statistically in all PSLEs, most students lose their marks in this section. If you can be that exceptional one that doesn't lose that many marks here, you will be outstanding comparatively. Do you understand? So this section can make or break, especially if you're fighting for the AL2 or AL1 spot. This section is crucial. You have to be super careful. And how careful you be is dependent on how well you apply your 5 rules. There are more rules. I'll teach you more, but begin with these 5 basic ones. Ken, at P5, we do 5 rules. At P6, I give you the 6th, 7th, and 8th rule. Okay? We build on it as we go along. But for now, good. Let's go. Let's practice. Look at this. Very easy, right? Okay? Same class of questions. Okay? And then bonus points. 1, tell me the answer, of course. And 2, tell me what rules you have applied. Okay? The ones that you know. If you don't know, then it's okay. Right? Just look at these 2 questions and which brave souls would like to attempt these 2 questions. Okay? Let's see. Okay. I'll have Xuan Yi take the first one. Is that okay, Xuan Yi? Can you take the first one? Okay, thank you very much. And I'll have Brian take the second one. There'll be other questions. Don't worry, everybody. Please hold your horses. Okay. So I say again, Xuan Yi and Brian, please think about what the answers are, and everybody else, please think also, and you check for them. Okay. Right? Then you all vote whether they are correct or not. And 2, give me the rules that you observe in action as you structure your answer. Okay. Think about it. Okay. Xuan Yi, are you ready? Okay, if you are ready, then let me see if I can. Okay, let me see if I can. Can I pin you? Let's see, pin. Okay, okay, Xuan Yi, are you ready? Okay, go. Tell us the answer.
Having saw the extent of the damage, James wept in anguish.
Okay, so can you repeat that again? Sorry, so that everybody can hear you one more time.
Having saw the extent of the damage, James wept in anguish.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell me what rules you applied?
Rule number 1.
Okay. James, right? Yeah, okay, right. What else? Try to point to where that rule applies to, okay? Yeah. What else? What are the rules? Okay, never mind. It's okay. Thank you, Shani. Thanks for trying. Okay. Would anybody like to jump in and tell me whether his answer is correct? Dia, go ahead. Yes or no?
No.
No. How many mistakes did Shen Yi make?
He made one mistake, but then the
Wrong.
second.
Stop. Wrong. You are wrong. He did not make one mistake. Would someone else like to try besides Dia? And later I'll let Dia spot what is that one mistake, okay? Who else would like to try? How many mistakes did Shen Yi make in this one synthesis question? Okay, you notice synthesis, you can make multiple mistakes in one question. It's one of those rare questions where you can make multiple mistakes. Okay, good. Duncan, you point out 2, right? Okay. Okay, good. So you will tell me the second mistake later, okay? Wait, Dia, can you tell me your first mistake?
Yeah. So Shani said that having saw the extent of the damage, but it's actually having seen the extent of the damage.
Very good. Thank you. Because the verb form after having, right, should always be in the past perfect tense, which actually Shani did correctly in the first time. Did you all hear him say the correct answer the first time around? Yeah. So Shani was not very confident. Then he changed his answer. So be very careful, okay? Don't second guess yourself. Very often your first instinct is the correct one. Okay, Shani? Your instinct is often correct. Don't second guess yourself, because there is a linguistic part of your brain that is like subconscious. It can spot the pattern. Don't second guess it. You are often correct. Okay, so good. That is the first error, having seen the extent of the damage. Now, Duncan, can you tell us what the second error is?
I believe he said he wept in anguish.
No. Having seen the extent of the damage, James wept in anguish was what Shani said. So Shani did not make the mistake of not substituting he with James. That was not the mistake. Who can spot the correct mistake? Thank you, Duncan. Thanks for trying. Oh no, is Dia the only person that's going to participate? The rest of you, hello. Jairus, go.
He didn't add a comma after.
Yes, thank you very much, Jairus. Well spotted. So actually, rule number 3 was also in action because the connector moved to the front one. Can you see having is now a connector? Having seen the extent of the damage, comma, right? Did Shani say comma just now? No, he did not. So that's rule number 3. And then rule number 2 is the tense that's kept consistent, right? Saw, having seen, wept, still wept. So the tense of past tense is kept consistent. Rule number 4, the length is much shorter. And rule number 5, we have removed the repeated word, right? Having seen the extent of the damage, comma, James wept in anguish. Okay, so all 5 rules again being applied. Okay, Brian, number 2, go. Answer.
Being lonely and bored, comma, Alex decided to look for his friends.
Okay, thank you very much. How many of you think that Brian's answer is correct? Okay, I see the majority of you and you're all correct. He is indeed absolutely correct. Now, Brian, to end off, can you please explain to us what are the rules that you apply in this particular case, starting with the more important ones? Yeah.
3.
Rule number 3. Where is rule number 3?
Comma, because I put the comma.
Okay, right. Good. What else?
Rule number 2, because I didn't change the tense.
Okay, good. But there's another more important rule that you apply also, right? Rule number
4, because it's shorter.
No, that's always the least important rule. Rule number
5.
5. Where is rule number 5? Yeah, some of you pointing 5. Yeah, I see. Good. Where is rule number 5? What did I cancel away? That was
the same
You cancel away Alex.
No,
E.
no, no. I did not cancel away Alex. I moved Alex to the back, didn't
No,
I?
I meant cancel he.
Yeah, you replaced he with Alex. You didn't cancel he, you replaced he with Alex. But what did you cancel away that was repeated? Thank you,
Was.
Brian. Let's see who
Was.
else would like to answer. Clarissa, go.
The was.
Yes, very good. The be verb was cancelled away because being replaces was. Very good. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to the next question type. Okay, very good. Huh? You all are doing very well. Huh? Thank you very much. I like the momentum that's going on here. Again, if you have any questions along the way, please stop me, okay? It's going to get a bit repetitive after a while, but you get the hang of it, right? Remember, practice makes perfect and good practice makes good perfect. Huh? Okay, bad practice makes imperfect. Huh? All right, so please always practice and practice with guidance. Okay, now this next one. Okay, unless, all right, very common, very easy, but remember, whenever you're dealing with unless, unless carries a negative inside of it. Do you know what I mean when I say unless carries a negative inside of it? Yeah, many of you are nodding your heads. If you don't, this question will explain to you what I mean by unless carries a negative inside of it. Unless is very common. A lot of practice papers, school papers, and even PSLE like to use unless because it changes the polarity of the question. What do I mean by polarity? You know your magnet got two poles, right? North and South pole, right? Right? Polarity means which side is facing which. Okay, so if you flip the magnet around, right, North pole becomes South pole becomes North pole, right? So positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive, right? Same thing, the polarity of your question is flipped whenever the word unless is inserted. Okay, so let's look at this. If you listen hard, you will hear the bird chirping. Okay, so remember, I am changing the polarity of this sentence. Would someone like to try this question? I don't need to explain. It's quite easy, right? We've done unless before, right? Okay. Somebody who has not answered yet, please. Kanish. Okay, go. Kanish, I can't hear you.
You will hear the birds chirping unless you listen hard.
I'm going to give you some time to think about what you said. And then I'm obviously you're seeing the reaction that I'm seeing. Okay. Jairus, can you tell me what rule did Kanish just break? The most important rule.
He changed the tense.
Huh?
Wait, what?
No, you are wrong. No. What is the most important rule he just broke? Thank you, Jairus. Nicholas, go.
He changed the meaning.
Yeah, he changed the meaning, right? Kanish said, you will hear the bird chirping unless you listen hard. Do you understand what that means? Everybody, do y'all get it? What Kanish is saying is that you will hear the bird, right? Unless you actually go and listen. If you go and listen, right, then you cannot hear the bird. You get what I mean? Did he just change the meaning? Oh, yes. Major change in meaning. Cannot. Thank you for providing comedy, Kanish. But you must think, that's not what the sentence is saying, The sentence is saying, only if you listen hard, then you will hear the bird. Because the bird is very soft. The bird could be very far away. So I must listen very carefully. Then I hear it chirping. So you cannot change the meaning. This is exactly why this rule exists. So you won't make this mistake. Perfect. Thank you, Kanish. You actually illustrated why we need to use rules when we do synthesis, okay? No, obviously very wrong. Okay, Clarissa, would you like to try? Go.
You will not hear the bird chirping unless you listen hard.
Okay, you will not hear the bird chirping unless you listen hard. Okay, what did you insert, Clarissa?
The not.
Not. Remember, I said the negative is carried by the unless, right? So now you need to insert a negative into your sentence to balance out the negative that's in the unless. You understand? It's like a balancing scale. Otherwise, the sentence changes its meaning. Okay? All good. So you will not hear the bird chirping unless you listen hard. And what is the rule that drives this transformation? Rule number 1. 1. Yeah, 1 is the rule. I need to change the sentence so that I don't break rule number 1. Can you see here? I'm changing my answer so that I don't break rule number 1, because rule number 1 is the most important rule. If the meaning changes, your answer is definitely wrong. I don't care how good it sounds, right? Meaning cannot change. Rule number 1, that's the most dominant point, okay? So remember, because unless is a negative ridden or a minus carrying connector, therefore there's a condition that needs to be balanced, right? With a negative word like not, okay? So read the explanation. Basically, that's me summarizing the explanation for you in one sentence, okay? So you will not hear the bird chirping unless you listen hard. Now, what is the application of rule number 5? Where have I applied rule number 5? Can anyone answer my question? Rule number 5 has been applied here. Where have I applied rule number 5? Anyone? Rule number 5. Quick, raise your hands. Where have I applied rule number 5? Come on, come on. Okay, Claire.
For the if.
For the if, right? Yeah, I removed if. So what have I replaced the if with? What did if get taken over by?
Unless.
Who is that? Claire, is it? Okay, unless, correct. Okay, thank you. Unless. So unless gets replaced, or rather if gets replaced by unless. Do you all get it? Every rule is functioning in every answer that you give. Some rules are more important or stronger than others, but all rules rule. All rules rule. Got it? Okay? You cannot leave any rule out in any answer, or your answer will be incorrect. But some rules are more important than others in certain questions. Here we go. All right? Coming to a quick close, right? I think I've proven my point, right? These 5 rules are very important, and they are applied in different degrees of force in different types of questions, right? Different types of questions will require different rules that are stronger, okay? The same rules, but different strengths of the rules, okay? So look at this, right? Who would like to volunteer? 2 other brave volunteers, please. Okay, Kanish wants to redeem himself. Okay, Jairus, you will also go for it. Then Solomon, you will check their answer later, okay? Ken? Right, so Jairus, you take the first one. Kanish, you take the second one. Ken? All right, so this is redemption match, Kanish. Think carefully, yeah? Okay. And then Solomon, you will tell me whether the answers are correct or incorrect. Okay, Ken? Let's go. All right. Jairus, would you like to start us off?
Unless you check your work carefully, you will not make many mistakes.
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Thank you. We'll hold that first. Okay. Kanish, carry on. Kanish.
Unless the students are humble, the teachers will.
Hello. Can you finish the answer? Kanish.
Unless the students are humble, the teachers will gladly teach them what they know.
Solomon.
That's also incorrect.
That is also incorrect. Okay, so Solomon has judged both answers incorrect. Do you agree? Yeah? No? Brian disagrees. Duncan agrees. Dia agrees. right? I see Jairus himself nodding, so Jairus also agrees. Yes, okay. So Clarissa also agrees. Okay, okay. Most of you, Jeanette, are you listening? Do you agree? Stop looking at other screens while the lesson's going on. I can see the reflection in your face. Okay. Jairus, would you like to correct your answer?
Unless you check your work carefully, unless you do not check your work carefully, you will make many mistakes. Wait, unless you check.
Rule number one, my friend. Rule number one. Not so easy, right? Not so easy, huh? You all see, it's not that easy, huh? Don't think Jairus is being careless. Jairus is being very careful, but it's not easy. Okay?
Unless you check your work carefully.
Solomon,
Okay.
I put you to work. Give me the answer to Jairus' question, please. And you better be correct, otherwise we'll all say wrong to you.
Okay.
Go.
Unless you check your work carefully, you will make many mistakes.
Wrong.
Let me think.
Oh, no, actually, yeah, correct. Say again, so I can hear one more time. Now I'm confused by all the wrong answers. Say one more time. Exactly what you just said, Solomon.
Unless you check your work carefully, you will make many mistakes.
Correct. Yes. Correct. Yes. Finally. Okay. Kanish, would you like to correct your answer? Go.
Unless the students are not humble, the teachers will gladly teach them what they know.
Unless the students are not humble.
What?
My friend, the opposite of humble is not humble. Do you all understand? It's not like you are interesting, you are not interesting, right? There are antonyms for a reason. Please use the antonym. Go ahead, Kanish, please revise again. Use the antonym. Go on, Kanish.
Unless the students are lazy, the teachers will gladly teach them what they know.
No. The antonym of humble is not lazy. The opposite of humble. Kanish. Hello, can someone please tell me what is the opposite or antonymous word for humble? Please, somebody, I beg of you. Yes, Dia, go.
Noble.
No, no, Jairus.
Proud.
Yes, proud. The opposite of proud is humble. The opposite of humble is proud. Do you all understand? Please nod your heads vigorously now. Oh my goodness. Please go and study all your vocabularies and your synonyms and antonyms. I'm going to, it's a recording. I cannot say anything bad. Okay. Please go and do your revision, okay? Dear children, whom I love dearly. It's not that I'm about to wring your necks like chickens, but please go and study hard, right? Oops, it slipped out. I couldn't help myself, okay? Now, an antonym is the opposite of the meaning of a word. So opposite of humble is proud. So unless the students are proud, so if the students are proud, the teachers will not teach them. So unless the students are proud, the teachers will gladly teach them what they know. There is another answer here, you know. If I don't want to change humble to proud, if I want to keep it as humble, can someone tell me the answer if I don't want to change humble to proud? That's fine too, you know. It's still workable, right? But thank you, Kanish. I know you tried very hard today. I give you all the difficult questions, okay? So it's not your fault, all right? Okay, Kanish, I give you a chance to redeem yourself. Go. Unless
the students are humble, the teachers will gladly not teach them what they know. What?
You were so close, Kanish. So close. The insertion of the not is correct, but it was inserted in the wrong place. Okay, finally, Jeanette raises her hand. Jeanette, are you stretching or raising your hand? You're stretching, right? Right? So disappointing. Participate. Okay. Okay lah, Xuan Yi.
Unless the students are humble, the teachers will not teach them what they know.
No, will not gladly. Why you miss out the word gladly? Will not. You cannot remove words without purpose. Okay, will not. Remember, will not. Okay, will not gladly. Okay, good. Thank you. Too much time spent here already. It's already 3:30. My agreed upon time to dismiss all of you. So let me just very quickly review. Actually, I have many more types. Okay, I'll just send this PowerPoint slide. You'll read yourself. Okay, right? Basically, it is the application of the 5 main principles, right? Which are as follows. These are the 5 main principles. Okay, these are the rules that govern synthesis. All right.